Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Stellos Stadium here in the Gate City of Nashua, New Hampshire for tonight's Division I boys football action between the Bedford Bulldogs and the Bishop Guertin Cardinals. Hello, everybody. Jason Roby calling the action for you here this evening. Tim Diesel O'Neill is on the moving pictures, and Pete Johnson is our executive producer. And right on cue, the 6-1 Bishop Guertin Cardinals run through their banner onto the field. They're going to have a lot easier time running through that banner, I think, than the defense of the Bedford Bulldogs tonight. As I looked at some of the stats leading into the game, this is a Bedford team that has only allowed 39 points this year in 6 games played. So it's a Bedford team that is really playing on all cylinders defensively. The key for Bishop Guertin, also 6-1, by the way, coming off of a tough loss to Londonderry High School a week ago. The man with the plan is Matt Santasuazo. He is the do-everything quarterback who runs the show. He is the field general on offense, and he has been without his right-hand man, running back that has been on the injured list, Charlie Bellavance, and we're not sure if we'll see him tonight. We're going to take a pause for just a minute. We'll be right back with some more stats. We're going to pause for the national anthem.
Many of us know Gavin Trutune, age 15, lost his life in an accident on October 2nd. Gavin was a fellow football player from Hudson and Alvern High School. Rest easy, Gavin, and we offer prayers that his family, friends, and teammates somehow find peace, knowing that Gavin and his spirit always will be with them. Also, our BG football family asked for prayers for the other boy, Gavin's friend, who was involved in that accident. He's struggling and recovering. May all our prayers help give you the strength to fight through this difficult time. And finally, BG football is also honoring Craig Incardone, who passed away suddenly last week. Craig was the cameraman for our Friday night lights camera crew, which is here tonight broadcasting the game. Craig was an extraordinary talent, brought a big-time view to our small-town sports, making New Hampshire high school sports special for everyone. Just ask the family and friends watching remotely how meaningful Craig's work has been for all of us. May you rest in peace, Craig, and always be behind that lens. Now, please come together for a moment of silence for our neighbors. Very kind. Thank you to everybody. All right, now let's prepare Bishop Guertin Cardinal Marching Band for our national anthem. The flag is over our booth.
We get to watch a great football game between two great football teams here tonight as the captains make their way out to the 50-yard line. You'll see Bishop Guertin in their green jerseys with yellow numbers. Bedford, this is their second trip to Stellos Stadium. They opened up here and their season opener, a tough, hard-fought loss to Nashua North, a Nashua North team that, oh, by the way, is undefeated currently. We mentioned that this Bedford Bulldog team has an outstanding defense, having given up just 39 points through 6 weeks of play. That Nashua North team has only given up 55. And a lot of those scores have been in one-sided games. That those scores have come, during running time or when the second and third strings have been in. So something tells me that there could be a matchup between those two teams down the road. We're going to be treated to another great game here next week as this Bishop Guertin team will be on the visiting sideline to face the aforementioned Nashua North Titans of Coach Chad Zabolis. Who I must admit should be getting some Coach of the Year recognition. He has taken over for Coach Lorendi, who stepped down this year and has done a fantastic job leading the Titans to an undefeated season thus far. Bishop Guertin, it appears, will receive the opening kickoff. And as we mentioned earlier, Matt Santasuazo, one of the prime candidates for Player of the Year here in the state of New Hampshire. Certainly talk amongst the Gatorade folks is Matt Santasuazo. He's a 6'1 senior, 200-pounder. And this team will go as he goes. And we mentioned that Charlie Bellavance, number 26, is a running back and linebacker, a 6'1", 231-pounder. Who has been unable to go on the offensive side of things over the last few weeks. So it's been some uphill sledding, but that'll only make this Guertin team stronger as they go along. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, I want to wish a happy birthday to Colby Snow. It is his 18th birthday today, and Colby has been having a fantastic season for the Bedford Bulldogs. He ran for over 160 yards last week in a huge win against the Exeter Bluehawks. And they're finding ways to get him the ball. He was primarily just a receiver in the early going of the year, but Nashua North kind of took him out of the game a little bit, and they found since some new ways to get Colby Snow the football. We are ready to get things off, and as we mentioned, Colby Snow will do the honors and kick off for the Bulldogs. 12 minutes on the clock. The whistle has been blown, and we are underway. Snow gets under it. It's a rainmaker, going to be caught at about the 27, fielded there, and brought down at about the 32-yard line. And that looked to be Michael McDonough on that return, potentially. It was either McDonough or Dante Nieto. There it is. It was McDonough. And he picked up about 6 on that return. Bishop Guertin offense looks to the sideline to get the signal. And all the skill players look. The linemen do not, as the quarterback will shout out the commands. Ethan Labby stands next to Santasuazo. He'll start things off on a nice little fullback trap up the middle. Nicely blocked at the point of attack. And Labby will go for about 7 on a first down. That is a huge start for the Cardinals. So 2nd and 3 now. Cardinals just shy of their own 40-yard line. Bulldogs lining up in their 4-3 defense. One-step drop for Santasuazo. Fires. Ball is incomplete. It was intended for Chase Amaral, who was trying to sit down in the interior of that zone. He found the soft spot in between the linebacker and the outside backer, and unfortunately it was just off of his hand. So that'll set up a big 3rd down and 3. Call it a long 3 for the Cardinals. Amaral, or rather Labby, will set to quarterback's right-hand side. It is a stretch play. No, it is not. It is called wrap. Now, that play is called quarterback wrap. And what happens is the tackle from the backside, if we get a chance to see on the replay, will pull and lead the quarterback up. There was no gain on that play as the Bedford defense was up to the challenge, shoring up the middle of that front. So it's a 4th down and 3. We'll see if Guertin tries to get him to jump off sides with a hard count. Santasuazo barking. He did just that, and Bedford did not jump. We used to call that play brick. They weren't buying what Santasuazo was selling. Takes the snap. Again, 1-step drop. It airmails one, and that is incomplete. Went off the hands of number 12, Chase Amaral, and I'm going to tell you that number 11, Joel Poltronieri, almost had his eyes on an end zone pick six. It went just off of his fingertips and out of bounds. And the Bulldogs will take over 1st and 10 at their own, at the Guertin 40-yard line. So rolling the dice early is Bishop Guertin. Coach Trisciani obviously rolling the dice in this big game, a huge game for both of these teams if they want to stay alive for the number 1 seed in the first round bye here in the West. Roll out to the right, a quick strike, 10-11. So Danny Black takes a couple of steps to his right and finds Poltrineri on the reception. That's enough to move the sticks. So once again, soft spot in the secondary of that Guertin defense. And that's going to pick up almost 13 yards there. Bulldogs will set up shop 1st and 10 on the Guertin 27. Take a look at this Guertin front. They have looks to be a 3-4 defense rather, a stand-up backer as the ball is handed to number 1. That ball's on the carpet, and it's going to be recovered by Guertin. I don't know if he ever got it clean. It looked to be Cody Szymanski on the recovery of that fumble. It was Logan Spear on the handoff, and usually when you get a fumble like that and it bounces forward that far, it's because it came off of his knee. So it probably slid down his torso and went its way into the secondary. So Guertin dodging a huge bullet here in the early going. Teams exchanging turnovers, 1 on downs and 1 on a fumble. Sanasuazo, hands off, and there'll be no soup for you in the interior of that Bulldog defense. Looks to be leading the charge there was number 98, Drake Sutton. So Sutton led the charge there. It's going to be gain of maybe a half a yard, and that's a home field advantage.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10.
Sanasuazo puts Labby to his right, and we're going to keep a close eye on this Guertin offensive line. Labby again on 2nd down, tries to push off the left-hand side and finds the sledding extremely tough.
Labby on the carry again.
So Labby is a good, tough runner. Watched him a little bit last week play against Londonderry. The absence of Charlie Bellavance has hampered this Bishop Guertin offense a little bit, but if anything, it's going to make them better and maybe a little deeper as the playoffs get closer. And we'll take a look at the BG offensive line on this particular set. They are no 3-point stances, all 2-point stances. Vertical set. Nice pocket there for Sanasuazo, but it closes down real quickly. And we said his name earlier, and they are moving him around on the interior of the defense. That was number 88, Kevin Sheridan. And he made a nice move there, got by the block of the right tackle, and familiarized himself with Sanasuazo. So again, we talked about the prowess defensively for this Bedford Bulldog team, and they are showing it in the early going. Guertin will set up to punt here, 4th and 10 from their own 21-yard line. It's a good snap, and it's a good kick. It should be a returnable ball. And this is number 8, and he gets to the left side, tries to make a move, and he's going to be tackled out of bounds there by number 2. Dom Taliaferro was on the return, and Cody Szymanski on the tackle. So he ran about 25 yards to gain 2. And Bedford will set up shop 1st and 10 on their own 48-yard line. So in the early going of this one, 4 minutes in or so, Bedford winning the field position battle. Both of these teams, as mentioned, are currently 5-1 and looking up at a Nashua North team that has just been running through the competition. This Guertin team will face them next week, but a lot of work to do before then. They set up in their 3-4 defense. Black, a quick jet sweep. And the edge has been set nicely. It was by Jacob Baker, and he did a great job of keeping the defender, or rather the point of attack blocker, off of him. He extended that right hand, keeping his left hand free so he could maintain that edge. And more importantly, it was out of phase, and he showed the ability to run down Ledger Russell. So that is a loss on the play, and Bedford looking at about a 2nd and 5, maybe a long 4 here. But the speed on that perimeter by Baker, extremely evident. Black calling signals now. He's got 2 backs, 1 up tight in a sniffer position. And he goes to Black, and they're going to try that right side again, and nothing doing there. And again, Baker was on the charge. He got some help from his secondary friends, but that's going to set up a big 3rd down and about 13. So interesting to see both coaches really going at the strengths of these defenses to test them early on, and why not? So a huge 3rd down play. Saturday Night Football, welcome to historic Stello Stadium. Can we say that yet, historic? Why not? We've had some pretty good games here. They're going to go tight end trips to the left. Snow is the number 1 receiver down here at the bottom. Single receiver up top. Black. It's going to be a jailbreak screen to Snow. Snow finds the interior of the defense, and he's on the move. And it was well set up. But we do have a flag on the play. That could be in the position of roughing the passer. We'll see what the head official calls. But you're going to see that back on replay. Snow takes 1 hard step up the field and peels back towards the interior of the offensive line. That's called a jailbreak screen, or a funnel screen, if you will. Great blocking by the linemen. You'll see them release down and pick up, and then it's up to Snow to get up the field. And as thought, it is going to be a personal foul penalty against the Cardinals, so we're going to tack 15 yards onto that effort. So once again, finding ways to get Colby Snow the ball, and there's a great 18th birthday present right there, as Snow 1 tackle away from bringing that one to the house. You also have to note that the pass was right on the money. On those particular screens, you don't have a lot of time to make up for errant throws. Everything is based on timing of the release of the offensive line, the release of the receivers, the screen back towards the middle of the field, and it was run quite effectively. Also want to note that was done out of a tight end set. It was a tight end trips formation. So this penalty is a big one against Guertin, and so it's going to give Bedford High School the ball, 1st and 10 at about the 14-yard line of Guertin. So that's a little salt in the wound there. A great play tacked on a 15-yard personal foul to it, and suddenly Bedford is knocking on the doorstep. We saw some good goal line stands last week in that BG Londonderry game. We'll see if BG can dial one up here tonight. Double tight end, and they run a trap, and they use Snow as the decoy on a wing back around, and the ball went right up the guts of Logan Sphere. And a nice run there has BG on their heels on that 9-yard gain. 2nd down and 1 for the Bulldogs. Nice crowd here. Bedford has traveled well, and obviously Bishop Guertin. It's their home game, so a nice crowd on a Saturday 6 o'clock game. Once again, double tight ends, 3 backs, a wing. Here comes Snow again on the end around. They go right back to Sphere. And right now, I'll tell you what, this Bedford Bulldog team is winning the battle up front. They tested Baker on that right side early going, and were not able to get it moving. They've now started to come back to the left side, and they think maybe they've found something. So that's going to set up a 1st and goal for the Bulldogs on about the Guertin 2-yard line. We'll see how Coach Trisciani's group plays with their backs against the goal line here. Again, double tight end set. A sniffer, almost like a pistol formation, wing back. Here comes Snow on the end around fake again, and guess what? Sphere again, and Guertin has no answer to it. They run the same play 3 times in a row, and Sphere goes in for 6. So if field position is going to be any indication as to how this game goes, BG is on the bad side of it thus far. It'll be important for them to establish good field position in this next drive. We'll see if Snow can bang home the extra point. Of course, his jailbreak screen set up that touchdown. Snow kicks it into the woods, and it's a 7-0 lead for the Bulldogs. So you see that Bedford, no strangers to getting out of their spread formation, going double tight with a wide wing and running it down your throat. Let's take a look at this Bedford team. As we mentioned, they lost their season opener 19-7 to Nashua North, which seems like almost a season ago. That 19-7 victory was the first game for both of those teams, and currently Nashua North, the only undefeated team here in the West. They then beat Salem 17-0. Went to Thornton, Maine, and beat them 16-10. They handled Goffstown 49-0, and they beat South 48-0. And a huge come-from-behind win against Exeter, scoring 13 points in the fourth quarter last week in a 20-10 victory. Most importantly, 3 of their 6 games have been shutouts, and 2 they've only allowed 10 points. And I might add that in that Nashua North game, one of those was a defensive score. And 2 40-plus yard field goals. This is a defense that is firing on all cylinders. And this is a kick return, and it looked like number 15, Roland Balistreri. And again, running a long ways to not get very much. And what we always tell our return men is, if you have to run across the field before you get vertical, just take what you can get. And you'll see it on the replay. He'll catch that ball, and he's going to run a good 10, 12, 15 yards before he tries to get up the field, trying to find his blocking, and obviously something that has been scouted out well by Bedford. Sanasuazo, 2-step drop, fires over the middle into the soft spot of that zone, and it's complete. And still on his feet is number 12. That's Chase Amaral. And Amaral will be tackled at about the 38-yard line, but that play will be good enough for a Bishop Guertin first down. And that's going to be the key. I think Guertin has found early on they're going to have to soften up that Bedford defense by throwing the ball around a little bit. And Sanasuazo can do it. The intermediate pass is his friend, and he's got the guys that can catch the ball, but more importantly, yards after catch, as was displayed there by Amaral. We have trips down here, and Sanasuazo will do the honors and makes a nice move to the outside, cuts through the defense, and will slide forward for the first down. So he is now in Bedford territory. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Cardinals on the Bedford 49-yard line. And as we always say, if your secondary is leading the team in tackling, you're in big trouble, my friend. Sanasuazo gives it off, and a great carry there, and a good first cut. And that was number 33, Ethan Labby. And as we said, Labby, no slouch. He is filled in nicely for Bellavance, and a nice run there through the off-tackle play. He's a 5'11", 190-pounder, so he knows where the weight room is, and if he gets north and south, that's a tough runner coming at your face. Sanasuazo now communicating. He's got twins to the left and right. Labby to his left. It is a choice read, and I will say this right now. That is not Labby's play. Easty-westy is not the way he needs to go, and Sanasuazo has a read on that play. And what Sanasuazo's doing is he's reading one of the linemen on the front of Bedford. And if the lineman comes at him, he gives the ball off. If it doesn't, he pulls it. The problem is you're asking Labby to run laterally for maybe too long. Guertin will sit up on the right hash. Sanasuazo looks to his left. He's got slot trips. Now Labby goes north and south, and that's more his style as he powers up front for a couple of tough yards there. Nice tackle by Sutton on the play. Guertin will line right up as it's not necessarily a hurry-up offense. It's just we don't need to huddle. We're going to signal the play, and you can use all of your play clock if you want. And by the way, this first quarter moving quite nicely. 2:05 to go on the clock. Sanasuazo slot trips to the left. Labby's to his left. They try to get Bedford to jump off, and they do. So a free play there. And typically, you're going to see that on 3rd and 5 or less. Reason being because a 5-yard penalty gives you a free first down. They did it on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, and they caught Bedford. Now you got 2 downs to get 1 yard. And that's just a good job by the coaching staff and the discipline of the Cardinals. So 1:51 and counting here in the first quarter. Signal comes in. Sanasuazo tells the line assignments. And he will do the honors on a quarterback ISO play. Follows Labby up the field, and he's going to have enough for the first down. He's going to be inside the 20. So we'll see how they do inside the red zone.
First down, Cardinals.
And as advertised, this is going to be a heavyweight bout all the way to the finish, I have a feeling. Once again, taking their time, calling in the play. Twins to the left, a tight slot right, and a great job up front by the Cardinal line to open that up as Labby does not get touched until the second level. And I will say this, at the point of attack thus far, if you only have one guy there to meet Labby, he's going to break that arm tackle. So 2nd and short. Right back to Labby, and yeah, that is the recipe. As Dante Nieto plays cheerleader for the Cardinals, they're asking the crowd to get pumped up here. Sanasuazo brings him to the set, and guess what? You want to run the same run play 3 times in a row and score? Guess what we're going to do? We're going to run the same run play 3 times in a row and score. As Ethan Labby puts an exclamation point on this drive. 7-6 now, Bedford. So anything you can do, I can do better. And a great drive there as Labby powers it in off the right side. The extra point is up, and it is good. So 7-7 here with 36.8 seconds to go in the first quarter. And if you're sitting at home, get in your car, drive safely to Stello Stadium, and come see a great football game in person. Now, I know what you're thinking. You'd rather listen to me on Nashua ETV. Come sit right under the window, or you can, pull up your cell phone and live stream it. You can hear me, put the earbuds in, and come see this thing live and in person, because it is a good one. And I think we're going to be treated to another good one next week. So, what have we learned thus far? Each team showing some power, straight ahead running football. And it might be last man standing here tonight as number 8 Connor Lennon prepares to tee the ball off. We'll see how Bedford handles this return. Lennon gets his foot into it. Going to be caught at the 5-yard line, setting up the block, trying to get vertical. Nice coverage there by the Cardinals. That was number 8, Dom Tagliaferro. So a nice return. He got to about the 21-yard line, so a 13-yard-ish return. Can we use that on TV? Ish? Yeah, we'll use it. Why not? 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. And they have about 70. yards to go, 75 yards to go. They're at the 26-yard line. Excuse me, I thought it was the 21. It's the 26. Black calling signals, claps, and that ball. And now they go around the right side. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to watch that one back. Ledger Russell does a great job, but he's patient. As you watch that replay, watch how the Bulldogs latch on at the perimeter. Watch him block and how he reads his blocks at the point of attack, does Ledger Russell. That is just a nice job, and that's a patient runner. As we always used to tell our players, run with your eyes. Run with your eyes. Run at the back of your offensive lineman and cut off of that. And that's going to do it for the first quarter here. And I'm not sure if I get paid for the word or not, by the word or not, but wow, it has been an action-packed game thus far from Stello Stadium here in the Gate City of Nashua. Your score after one is Bishop Guertin 7 and Bedford 7. You are watching Nashua ETV. Tim Diesel O'Neill is on the moving pictures. Our executive producer is Pete Johnson. My name's Jason Roby, bringing you all the action. Calling it as I see it. And both of these teams are kind of flexing their Division I muscle. Meanwhile, we read you Bedford's schedule up to this point. We mentioned that 20-10 victory over Exeter last week at Exeter. Tough place to play. Of course, they're here tonight against BG. Next week they go to Keene, another tough bus ride against a pretty tough Keene team. Nashua South, congratulations to them. They got the victory last night over this Keene team here at Stello Stadium. And then Bedford finishes the season hosting Merrimack at home. Meanwhile, this BG team started out with 5 straight wins, defeating South, Timberlane, Goffstown, Merrimack, and Winnicunnet. The middle 3, Timberlane, Goffstown, and Merrimack, all on the road. And as mentioned earlier in the broadcast, a tough loss last week at Londonderry. They'll finish up here with Bedford. Here again next week as the visiting team against Nashua North, and then at home here against Keene in 2 weeks' time.
Second and 5 for the Bulldogs on the 31.
Pistol position now. Here comes Snow on the stretch play, and not much doing over there on that right side of the Guertin defense as Snow puts his shoulder down and tries to plow ahead. He might get a yard, maybe 2, going to set up a 3rd down and about 3 for the Bulldogs. Huge play coming up here for the Cardinals as this could change the field position battle based on how this play goes. We always tell kids, and it's a hard sell, not every possession is going to end in a score, but if it can end in you winning the field position battle, that sometimes is a victory in and of itself. Pistol position for Black, turns, hands it off, and there again, no answer for the quick strike of number 1, Logan Spear. They are just paying all kinds of attention to Snow on the end around, and he doesn't have the ball. So the interior of that Guertin defense being tested early by the quick trap game, quick dive game of Spear. And it is, that's all it is. They're pulling the backside guard, they're trapping the outside power play there, and up he goes. I believe it's an off tackle play. Down kick at the point of attack, trying to get the replay. So 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Black calling signals. Here comes Snow again in motion. 1-step drop. He'll take a shot. That's going to be, I tell you what, a great form tackle there and a ball on the carpet. We're going to see what the referees say. They're going to say it's a fumble and possession goes to the Cardinals. And I'll tell you what happened right there. Ledger Russell caught the ball, but Black had to hold on to it for 1 extra second, giving the Guertin defender a chance to get over the top. And he did just that. Had a nice form tackle, jarring that ball loose. That was Cody Zemansky creating that fumble. And a great job of recovering it in the field of play. Guertin possession. They'll open up this possession, left hash, wide trips to the right. And this will be Sana Suazo, and he plays a Houdini act, disappearing in the interior and reappearing 6 yards down the field. So Sana Suazo ducks underneath the pressure and has a good first run carry. I may have been a little generous there. Looks like it's going to be about 2nd and 6. So the gain was about 4. Hometown call there. Twins to the bottom. Tight slot, and they'll use that slot back, and that was number 16 there, Dante Nieto, playing as the pulling lineman. And
caught from behind by Drake Sutton.
Unfortunately, number 33, Labby, could not get there as there was too much penetration up front by the defense of the Bulldogs. And I'll tell you, just a good job on the interior of that defense. Cal McAuliffe led the charge there from his defensive end position. Almost got him to jump again. They'll check the play. Labby switches over to the left side. Slot trips right. Sana Suazo, two-step drop, taking a shot. He's got a man down the field, but just a bit long there as the ball was intended for number 86, Gavin Bombara.
4th and 8 for the Cardinals.
And that's going to set up a 4th down and 8 for the Cardinals. It was single coverage on the play there. Looked like it was number 22, Nate Clark Jr., 6 foot, 170 pounder. And he used that sideline as his extra defender. Play comes in. Sana Suazo will set up wide, trips to the right, split left. Tried to get him to jump offside again. No dice. Labby will set off to the left side now of Sana Suazo. It's going to be a quick kick from the quarterback, and they just changed field position if that ball stays out of the end zone, and it does not. So Sana Suazo and Coach Trisciani had a good idea there. Look, let's go for the quick kick, change the field position battle, and if we can do that, we'll play in that game back and forth. Unfortunately, it rolls into the end zone by a couple of yards, and the Bulldogs going to set up shop 1st and 10 at their own 20. Beautiful day here today in Nashua as the sun sets behind the trees here at Stello Stadium. You can see the sunset hues behind the trees, and just a great atmosphere here at Stello Stadium. Two of the heavyweights in Division I and the Western Conference of Division I going at it here this evening. 13 teams will make the Division I playoffs of the 21 that are in the league. The winner of each conference will get a first-round bye. So both of these teams still in line, although chasing Nashua North, still in line for that first-round bye. 9:05 to go here in the first half. They'll set up a tight end to the left with twins to the right. Sniffer position, and a quick one-step there, and a great job by Baker as that play just took too long to develop as Sphere found the sledding tough as Baker just came off of his defensive end position and did a nice job closing down the outside lane. Not sure if that play was designed to go to the outside, but there was nowhere for Sphere to run, and that is a credit to the interior of that Guertin defense. We talked about the Nashua North defense only giving up 55 points this year, only 39 allowed by Bedford. Not to be outdone, Guertin has only given up 83, and 35 of those came last week at the hands of Londonderry. So 3 very good defensive teams here in the Western Conference. Black, a quick pitch, quick curl route complete to number 11, Joel Poltronieri. And they're making their hay on that against the zone defense of the Cardinals. They're just sitting down in that open window, and it's a one-step drop, which translates to a 3-step drop from an under center. And there it is. Yeah, they clear it out. They run snow on an out route, which takes the corner with them, and the number 1 receiver in that case was Poltronieri. He just settled up underneath in that hook area, or the curl area rather. Once again, pistol position, Sniffer, tight end. And it's going to be once again to Sphere. And once again, no answer for the Guertin Cardinals on that particular play. They just continue to bring snow on the fake end around. And at the point of attack, they're just not doing a great job. Call it like it is. on that one play.
Picks up 11, first and 10 for the Bulldogs.
So a first down and 10 for Bedford from their own 39-yard line. 7:14 to go here in the first half. A great Division I battle on hand here in Nashua. So Ledger Russell was on the sideline, came back in with the play. They'll set up in that sniffer pistol position again with a wing off the double tight end side. One step, two step drop, taking a shot, and wide open in the soft spot is Black will find number 44. That's Cal McAuliffe. And I'll tell you what's happening. That particular play, you have three different levels being run there. McAuliffe has the intermediate out route, and there's nobody there for Guertin. So they're going to have to shore up that secondary. And the bottom line is if you can't, you then have to go man-to-man, which makes things a little more difficult for you. So it'll be first and 10 for the Bulldogs in Guertin territory at their 45. They'll set up again in that pistol position with a sniffer. Double tight end. Snow is the wing off the right side. Straight ahead. Snow on the end around. Guertin was ready for it. So they went to the well with that look, and they've had success with Sphere, but they were waiting for Snow as number 52 there for the Cardinals. Jacob Baker made his acquaintances with Kobe Snow. So that's going to set up a fourth down and 14, or a second down and 14, excuse me, from the 49-yard line, or as Bob Bates used to say, from the 51. 5:33 to go here in the first half. And the pistol set again with a double tight end, double wing now. Snow in motion. They fake it. And I'm going to tell you who made that play right there. You're going to go back and you're going to watch that replay. He's not going to get credit for the tackle, but that's number 86, Gavin Bombara. He kind of crashed down at the point of attack and changed where that ball was supposed to be run. And as a result, Black had to bounce it out. So now it's a third down and 14 play for Bedford. So we'll have to see if they'll go back to that intermediate. Maybe they run another funnel screen here to the field. We'll look to see what their trips formation looks like over here, if it's a tight end trips look. We'll have to wait and see what Coach Matthews dials up. He's having a great season himself. Talk about all these coaches who are up for Coach of the Year. They're doing a real nice job against some tough competition. We'll have a tight end, and we're going to get a flag. We're going to get a delay of game, so
That'll be a delay of game penalty.
they're saying timeout. We'll see if they wave that flag off. There's been no signal yet that that flag has been waved off, but Coach Matthews was walking onto the field well before, has a conversation with the head official. We'll see if he pulls the flag and waves it in the air to say that there was no penalty. They're having a conversation at the football. They are not picking it up to march it off. They're simply putting who took the timeout. So Bedford going to be charged with their first timeout with 4:28 to go here in the first half. Huge 3rd and 14 play coming up. And they're going to let the ball lie, so it appears that the timeout came before the delay of game. 3rd and 14 on the 49-yard line of Bishop Guertin. And we'll see if they have a quick punt dialed in or if they go to the friendly skies. Danny Black has a few targets that he can look at. He's hit 3 different receivers thus far tonight, 4 if you count the running back.
Bulldogs used their first timeout.
So a plethora of threats at his disposal. Russell. Snow on the end around. Perimeter blocking. Snow makes a cut, puts his shoulder down, and he is going to be short. He's going to pick up about 10 on the play, give or take. So it's going to be a 4th down and manageable here for sure. well beyond field goal range and probably not going to punt it, so you would expect fourth down. You got your list of plays that are good for 5. We'll see if Bedford tries to get Guertin to jump off sides here. And the defense imploring the home crowd to get involved in the game. Get up off your hands and start clapping. Black looks down at the wristband. Surveys the defense. Clap. Here it comes. One-step drop. Snow. What a grab by Snow. What a catch. That ball was heading towards the cheerleader. Snow jumps up like a kangaroo and snatches that thing out of the sky. Boom! And gets that first down. What a great catch by Snow, and a 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. The drive is kept alive. And I have to be honest with you, I thought that one was being airmailed to the cheerleaders, and Snow jumps up and grabs that thing out of the sky and gets enough for first down yardage. Great blocking as well out there on the perimeter on that jail screen or that funnel screen. So 1st and 10. About the 32. Flags will fly, and this time it will be a delay game, and they are watching that one closely. So these are what you call drive killers. You can't afford to give up these 5-yard penalties to a good defense.
That's a 5-yard penalty, make it 1st and 15.
Most of the time your drives are designed to pick up 10 yards through a series of plays, and anytime you have to start adding to that 10 yards, it gets difficult. So it'll be 1st and 15 now. Twins down to the right, tight end flanker left, back is to the right of Black. He'll rodeo to his right, picks up a nice block, but it can't block 2 guys, as guess who? Mr. Baker. The butcher and the candlestick maker were not there, but the baker was, and he will record the sack, a huge loss on that quarterback sack. So 2nd and forever. As we used to say, 2nd and next week. It is a long way to go, as Bedford now going to have to dig deep, and they're going to call a timeout with 2:25 to go here in the first half.
And the Bulldogs use their 2nd of 3 timeouts.
As this 2nd down and 25 play. You don't have a lot of plays in your playbook designed for 2nd and 25. Some other games around the state here today, as Portsmouth and Oyster River did battle. Pinkerton is at Brockton. Concord went to Salem. Of course, last night we saw Nashua North defeat Merrimack. Exeter beat Dover. Memorial beat Winnicunnet. Londonderry over Alvern. Central gave Wyndham a game for 3 quarters. Wyndham pulling that one out. Jack Byrne over at Wyndham having a nice season with his Jaguars, as they could be postseason bound for sure.
2nd and 24 at the 47.
It is an unbalanced line, which indicates potentially a run to the left. That is an illegal formation unless it's a run, and it is a run. It was a design quarterback draw. So what you're going to see there, this is an unbalanced line. They have a tight end and a covered guy on the outside. This is a definite run play. If he had thrown it, it would have been a penalty. So not identified there by the Cardinals. It was a tight end who was covered by a split end, and the tight end released up the field, which makes it a run play. So if you're watching at home and wondering, if you are covered on the line of scrimmage, you cannot run a pass pattern. So that's going to set up a 3rd down and about 16 for the Bulldogs. Now it's a tight end trips to the left, split end to the right. Two-step drop, and the pressure once again gonna get to him. Baker was there once again, as was number 57, A.J. Rasmussen. So what started out as potentially a great drive for Bedford ends up going backwards. And that'll be a 4th down and forever for Bedford. Timeout called here. So we'll have to see if they're going after this one. We know that Kobe Snow is the punter. But 1 minute and 5 seconds to go here. We are deadlocked at 7 apiece. Huge game for the Patriots tomorrow as they travel to Cleveland to play the Browns. Who will be the quarterback in that one? Should be interesting. But we've got an interesting one here brewing up as dropping back to punt, and it's not Snow, rather it is number 9, Josh Attar, who will do the punting duties for Bedford. The BG fans come alive. They'll come after it, and it is slightly blocked. I don't know if Baker got a hand on it or if the personal protector retreated. We'll have to watch here on the replay, or if it just went off the side of his foot, because Baker really didn't react. Regardless, it's going to give Guertin great field position with 59.5 seconds to go and 2 timeouts. Guertin will employ slot trips to the right, a split end down here to the left. Labby will set up. We'll see where he goes. Will he be to the trip side? He is. So in essence, 4 players eligible on the right, and he will swing. And that's going to be a Sana Suazo keep all the way as he runs over to the right. Runs about 20 yards to gain about 3. So it was well covered there. He tucked that early on. I think he knew he was going to keep it on the ground for the duration of that. 52.3 seconds left. 2nd down and about 8 for the Cardinals. We're seeing some quarter coverage here. What looks to be quarters coverage for the Bulldogs. It could be a soft cover 2 shell, but it looks to be quarters. Unless it's straight up man and they have some kind of pressure dialed in. We'll see. 2-step drop. Sana Suazo taking a shot. He's got a man down the side, and it's caught. And what a catch. Cody Szymanski ran underneath that punt and fair caught it down the right sideline. And out of bounds he goes. 1st down for the Cardinals. Sana Suazo putting plenty of air on that one. That rainmaker allowed Szymanski to run underneath it. Made a great catch. Trips to the field. Slot trips left, split end right. And this is going to be Sana Suazo, and he goes through the interior. And he's going to be wrangled down there. And that looked like Spencer Henrichon. Easy for me to say. It's going to be 2nd down and about 9. Timeout called here. Guertin down to their final timeout. But we'll look back at that play because certainly close to field goal range for the Cardinals inside of a minute to play here in the first half. And the one thing you can't do is get beat deep, especially when you're playing with soft coverage there in the secondary. And what we mean by soft is we're not playing press coverage. We're not up in their grill. We're bailing out of there, keep everything in front of us. And not quite sure that was the defense that Coach Matthews had dialed up there. But, as you say in the coaching world, play the next snap. So, Guertin setting themselves up nicely here to try and take the lead going into halftime, a game they were trailing 7-0 early in this one. And it has been nothing short of a slugfest between these two teams. Trips to the left, split end right. Labby to the right side. One step, another fade route into the back corner. And that was Snow on the coverage that time. And I'll tell you what he did there. He used his back to push the receiver out of bounds. He used the sideline as an extra defender. He used the sideline as leverage. It's almost like a box out in football, and he just knocked that ball down. So a 3rd down and 10 for the Cardinals. Again, they'll line up in trips to the left. Split end to the right. Labby will set up to Santosuazo's left. Maybe changing the play there. Here comes pressure. Santosuazo drops it, and a good job right there. I'm going to tell you what right now. We're going to look back on that play in a couple of seconds and say, what a smart play by Santosuazo. Because it's an incomplete pass. It's an incomplete pass. The ball goes back to the original line of scrimmage. There was a receiver in the area, so it's not a grounding call. What a great heads-up play by Santosuazo. So it's going to be a 33-yard attempt.
Connor Lennon into attempt from 33 yards out.
And, of course, 3 things have to happen great here. The snap, the hold, and the kick, and before that, the blocking. So really 4 things. Timeout on the field. They'll see if they can get things together. Guertin going to use their last timeout. Coach Trisciani decides that he wants to talk it over as Connor Lennon grabs his block and brings it off the field, and they'll probably try to shore up their protection on this one. And I'll tell you what they're talking about as well. You have to have every contingency covered here. If the ball gets blocked and it goes forward, you must cover that ball if you are the offensive team. So I'm sure one of the things Coach Trisciani is talking about is, in addition to the blocking, if the ball gets blocked and goes forward, you have to cover it. It's like a punt. However, if the ball gets blocked and it goes backwards, we have to get on it because they can scoop and score that. So a lot of things can happen here on a field goal attempt. It's going to be from the right hash. The ball's going to be snapped from about the 16-yard line. And we go 7 yards back from there to the 23, where Lennon will set up his block. 10 yards in the end zone, tacks on the extra 10. A 33-yard attempt for Connor Lennon. Chance to give Guertin the lead here in the first half. Snap is down, kick is up, partially blocked, and I'm going to be honest with you, and you'll see they're covering it, but it goes in the end zone. And the fact that it goes in the end zone, it is a dead ball in high school football as soon as it goes in the end zone. So 1st and 10 for Bedford. They dodge a bullet there on the Rainmaker pass down to Szymanski. And the defensive slugfest continues. 24.1 seconds to go here in the first half. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Ball will be placed at the 20-yard line because it is a touchback. And we'll see if they just take a knee here. Looks like they'll do that because it appears that the way they're lined up, they have a double tight wing, double tight end. Snow is behind them. Black will take a knee, and that is going to do it for the first half as Guertin is out of timeouts. So with 15 seconds left, we're going to take this one into halftime. Your score after 2 quarters of play from Stello Stadium. You are seeing a great Division I football game. Bishop Guertin 7, Bedford 7, Nashua ETV. We'll be right back after this.
It is the Bishop Guertin Cardinals 7, the Bedford Bulldogs 7. Coming up at halftime, we will hear from the Bishop Guertin Cardinal marching band. Over on the north sideline, please welcome the 2022 Bishop Guertin High School Marching Band and their field show, Band Romance, featuring Bad Romance, Ain't No Other Man, Forget About You. The band is under the direction of Mr. Brian Stark, as in assisted by Amanda Stark, with percussion instruction by Chief Master Sergeant Dave Long, USAF, and drill design by Dr. Ron Fussell. The ensemble is conducted by drum majors Nora Zaveri and Sabrina Sterrett. Please welcome the Marching Cardinals. Give it up for our marching Cardinals band. CeeLo Green is part of the green. As they drum their way off the field, give another big hand to our Cardinal marching band. The rhythm section so solid you can hang sheetrock on it.
The Bishop Guertin Cardinals and the visiting Bedford Bulldogs. Jason Roby calling the action for you here on Nashua ETV. Our executive producer is Pete Johnson. Tim Diesel O'Neill is on the moving pictures, and we have seen an outstanding game here so far this evening. Both of these teams taking each other's best hit, literally, as both teams going to the power run game to score their touchdowns, as we saw Logan Seifer power in for Bedford, and then not to be outdone, Ethan Labby doing the honors on the other side of the field just a few minutes after that. Extra points were both put on the board, splitting the uprights, and we are deadlocked here at 7 in a great game. As we mentioned earlier, these two teams came in with fantastic offenses, but really the story of tonight's game are the defenses of both of these teams, and we're going to keep pointing to these numbers. 39 points allowed by Bedford so far this season, and 83 points allowed by Bishop Guertin so far this season, 36 of them coming against the Londonderry Lancers, last year's defending Division I champions, and really the odds-on favorite to win it this year. However, I wouldn't be surprised if either of these two teams could be in the mix. Throw in a Nashua North, throw in a Timberlane. You have the makings of what is going to be an outstanding Division I tournament. But that is a world away. We still have a half of football to go here from Stello Stadium. Both of these teams, important that they win here. They're staring up at a Nashua North team that is undefeated in division play, and a win here tonight for either of these teams keeps them in contention, with a game looming next week right back here at Stello Stadium as Nashua North will host Bishop Guertin. A 6 o'clock kickoff on Friday night next week. We still have 24 minutes to go in this one, at least regulation. The way things are going here, I wouldn't be surprised to see an exhibition put on from the 10-yard line and no time on the clock. That would mean we're in overtime. A lot of football left to play here. Story so far has been the big-name players that you would expect to see. Sana Suazo for the Guertin Cardinals, managing the game quite nicely, not to mention Ethan Labby, who's run extremely hard in the opening half to fill the shoes, so to speak, of a running back who has not been made available to the Cardinals. Charlie Bellavance has been on the shelf, but Labby is picking right up and picking up that slack. On the other side of things, great to see the quarterback, Danny Black, back in action for the Bedford Bulldogs. And, of course, Colby Snow having a great night himself, receiving and kicking the ball. Not to be outdone, and Logan Sphere has had himself quite a first half as he was running the ball north and south right down the throats of the interior of that Guertin defense in the early going. We'll see what coaches' adjustments have been made here, as Coach Trisciani and Coach Zach Matthews probably didn't have a whole lot to talk about from an intensity standpoint, but maybe a few X's and O's maneuvers to take away what gave their opponents so much success in the early going. It hasn't been easy. Both teams have hit on big passing plays. Sana Suazo, a deep ball that didn't yield any points, but certainly changed the field position landscape in that first half. He hit a streaking Cody Szymanski down the right sideline, the visitors' sideline, for a huge gain. And not to be outdone, Kobe Snow catching a jailbreak, or a funnel screen as we like to call it. A couple of nice catches and runs after the catch as well. We're ready to go here in the second half. The Bulldogs will receive the second half kickoff. We'll see if it is kicked deep or if there are any tricks up Coach Trisciani's sleeve. Connor Lennon to do the honors. He's ready to put his right foot into the ball, and we are underway. That ball is going to come to, I believe it's Kobe Snow. He's going right up the middle and into the teeth of that coverage team, and he's going to get out beyond the 30-yard line. So Snow with a nice return there, gobbled up by the coverage of the Cardinals. So 1st and 10 from we're going to call it the 32-yard line. And we'll get our first look at both teams and if they've made any adjustments moving forward. Great night for high school football here at Stello Stadium. They'll come back in their double tight end set, wing to the right, but now what we call a blue look, backs to either side of the quarterback. And it's a double dive play, and an interesting look there. They run the dive option, second back through, a double dive. And that is actually a wing T play, but it's run from the spread. So a wing T double dive play on first down, and a good look there. Pickup of about 4. And that was Snow on the carry, I believe, on that one. So they'll go back to the same look, double tight end, wing right. 2 backs flanking Black. That snap goes high over the head of Black, and it rolls funny. Black is able to cover it, and they're going to say Guertin has got the ball. So Guertin, the first miscue of the second half, is a high snap over the head of the quarterback, Black, and he is not able to get it. And Guertin now will get the ball 1st and 10 at about the 25-yard line. Big hello to Ron Ducky Welliver, who's calling the action from his home, sending me some play calls up here in the booth. Also a hello to Tom King. Hope to see you soon, Tom. And they go right back off the right tackle to Labby, and he just finds a huge seam in the interior of that defense, and it's well blocked up front. And they're running off the right side blocks of Baker. The right tackle over there. We'll get the right guard for you. Trips with a tight wing. Back to Labby again, and he'll just push. And there's that weight room work. Paying dividends as they will push further forward. It'll be 2nd down on a tough 3-yard gain for Labby. I don't think it's any secret here. The Cardinals are going to try to go right at the front of this Bedford defense. So they'll switch the formation to a twins left, a slot right formation. And that's Nito in the slot. It's going to be Sana Suazo. He makes a nice cut into the interior of the defense, and he's going to fall forward to about the 4-yard line. So it's going to be a 1st and goal from the 4 for Guertin. So they've definitely found something here in terms of where they want to run that football, and it's off the right side. And they're going to do it again. It's Sana Suazo just chugging his legs, and the touchdown is called by the line judge on the right. And Guertin just powers right through the Bedford defense, flexing their muscle on that drive. And there was no doubt there where they were going. All of those plays were run off to the right side. The guard, tackle, and slot man to that right side just pushing and establishing a new line of scrimmage. Extra point, snap is down, kick is up, and it is good. So Connor Lennon tacks on the extra point, and just like that, BG takes the first swing in the second half. They are able to take that Bedford turnover and turn it into points. 14-7, Guertin now on top. So that is, I'm sure, not what Coach Matthews had drawn up, not the way he envisioned the start of this second half going. And meanwhile, Coach Trisciani, I'm sure he and his staff ecstatic about not just getting that turnover, but being opportunistic enough to turn it into points against a Bedford team that hasn't given up very many points here this year. So that is a victory in and of itself. So Lennon is going to tee it up and on the left hash. And he kicked it to Snow on the last kick, but setting it up on the left hash here, not sure where he's going to try and place this one. We'll see. Special teams, an important part of the game. And he keeps it away from Snow. That's a live ball. It's going to bounce. It's fielded there by Tagliaferro. And he finds a seam on the right side. Quickly gets gobbled up, but the Bulldogs once again will have pretty good field position on about the 31-yard line. Of course, that's where their last possession started. And then the high snap came. So Bedford, for the first time tonight, they went right down and went up 7-0. And BG has scored the last 14 points to go up 14-7, 9:48 to go in the third quarter here from Stello Stadium. Good crowd on hand here at Stellos to watch the battle of these two great teams. I'd say Titans, but they played last night. Snow on a stretch play. Good read on the cut. It's a cut back in towards the middle. He's going to pick up about 4 on the play. And a fast flow by the defense of Guertin to get over the top of that, but not so far that the cutback from Snow wasn't accounted for. So the backside linebacker had to be wary of that cutback, and he was right where he was supposed to be as that ball started out of phase and then came back in phase. So good discipline there. Second down and about 6, a long 6 for Bedford. And the seam opens up like the Red Sea right there as number 1, Logan Spear, again gashes that defense, but he wasn't touched until the second level. That was blocked very well at the point of attack. So 1st and 10 for Bedford from their 43-yard line. Sphere listed as a 5'10", 185-pound running back, and he brought it all on that carry. A ball fumble on the ground again, and we have to wait and see. I think Black got it back. We'll have to wait and see. There's a wrestling match going down there on the field, so all of this faking and dipsy doing is not playing out the way it did in the first half as they're going a double tight end wing set. And they're in their pistol formation with their sniffer. And the ball just comes out of Black's hands, and he's fortunate there. It was almost gobbled up by Guertin, who had great penetration on that play. So you got to be careful. With that kind of penetration, too, if you're Bedford, you got to start thinking about your screen game. They're coming again. And Sphere has a nice run on second down. But here's the point I want to make. If you lose 5 yards on first down, an 8-yard run only gets you third and 6, 3rd and 7. So you really have to watch those negative plays. You can't afford to have negative plays like that in a game like this. You see Guertin coming on an interior blitz there, and you got to be careful when you blitz, because if you blitz and you guess wrong, it's off to the races. 3rd down and 7. There's a rumbling in the stands as the Guertin feet come alive. And a nice job. But that ball, and I'll tell you right there, that ball almost intercepted potentially by Szymanski, and he would have been off to the races. So they were going back to the field, and Guertin wisely set their coverage up to the field. They weren't buying that speed sweep into the boundary. That's going to set up a 4th down and about 6, maybe 7 for Bedford. And now Snow is back to punt. I think we saw Josh Attar punt the last time, unless I just had my numbers upside down. It's a good snap. Snow puts his right foot into it. Pretty good punt. It's going to take a bounce at about the 27 and head out of bounds. So Cardinals will set up shop, 1st and 10 from their own 27, a chance to get a 2-score lead, which would be huge for this Cardinal team. So, call comes in from the sideline. It is a Twins left, slot right, and they go right back to their bread and butter. And that was number 33 again, Labby, and they get him going north and south, and Bedford up to the task this time. They've seen enough of that play. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm sure Coach Trish will go right back to it at some point. 2nd down and 8 for the Cardinals. Ball just shy of the Guertin 30. Bedford in a 4-3 alignment now. And they're coming off the edge. And Sana Suazo, and again, they're not buying that easty-westy run into the boundary, so you had to know Sana Suazo was going to keep that to the field, and that works 9 times out of 10. Probably not going to work against a defense like this tonight. 3rd and 8 for the Cardinals. This is a big play here just in terms of field position. So Sana Suazo looks to the sideline, as does all the skill players. They'll get the signal. Labby will switch to the right side. It's Twins up top, tight slot down below. Sana Suazo, 1 step. He's under pressure. He's got a man. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's the 2nd time tonight that Cody Szymanski has run by Nate Clark, living dangerously, as Sana Suazo had to throw that off his back foot. If they gave him any type of time back there, that's a touchdown. You got to get out of your back pedal and turn and run. Bedford survives that one, as Guertin will line up in their punt formation. And that's number 52, Jacob Baker, to do the honors. Twin safeties back for Bedford. Cardinals are 1 player short. And it's going to be the tackle on the left side. He gets in time. It's a slow snap. Baker gets his right foot. It's a rainmaker, but it's only going to be about a 10-yard punt. Bedford got to be careful it doesn't hit them. And it'll take a Guertin roll and get to about the 46-yard line, but not a great punt for the Cardinals, is not the way you want to change field position. So Bedford will take over with pretty good field position on this next drive here in the second half. This will be an opportunity for them to try to tie things up. We'll see how the Guertin defense responds. Bedford will come out. Twins to the right, tight end, flanker left, back to the left side of Black. Motion into the boundary, and you know they're going to give it to Snow into the boundary, and excuse me, well, it just goes to show what I know. That was Tagliaferro into the boundary.
No, on the sweep for the Bulldogs, knocked out of bounds by Sana Suazo.
So Tagliaferro taking the speed sweep into the boundary and picking up about 7 yards on that first down carry. So nicely blocked at the point of attack and setting up a second down and very manageable for the Bulldogs.
7-yard gain on first for the Bulldogs.
And as this game starts to get into the later moments, we'll really focus in on those offensive and defensive lines for both teams. That's where this game is going to be won. Fast one out to Snow. And I will tell you that Guertin had it pretty well defended, but forward progress is going to give him a first down. It's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs by a mile.
Bulldogs Snow. He picks up 4 on 2nd and 3. That'll move the sticks for the Bulldogs.
So they had it blocked well on the perimeter, and they had the numbers there, but Snow just having to push forward, and he got that first down by over a yard. It's just a matter of driving him back once his forward progress was stopped. So 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. It was actually well covered. We go slot right, tight end, flanker left, back to Black's right. Snow will come in motion, and a large gash there as Sphere. They just keep going to well with that play, and it keeps yielding great benefits as Sphere just runs untouched until the second level. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You love those 7-yard first down plays. And if you're Guertin, you know what you're looking for. Now you got to stop it. We're going to get a tight end trips to the right, split end left, back is to Black's right. And they're going straight ahead. Sphere will pick up the first down. He'll get driven back, but he's 2 yards past the first down marker, so it's going to be another move the change situation for Bedford.
Sphere gets enough for the first down.
So again, where both of these teams had success was kind of flexing their muscle and going straight ahead as the 3-4 defense couldn't answer the call there. 1st and 10 Bulldogs. They're going to line up again. And this is an unbalanced line, so they cannot throw unless it's a screen here. And a lot of people don't know that, but that was 100% a running play before the ball was even snapped. And a flag flies. We'll see what the call is. Maybe a little extracurricular, a little talking there. And usually that's because someone is frustrated. And we'll see who it's on. I think it's going to go against the Cardinals. I see some hands up, and that's usually means it's going against the Cardinals. But what you had there was a tight end split end alignment to the right. And on a tight end split end alignment, if that tight end releases up the field, you know it's a run play. But that's something you got to coach kids up on from the get-go, is recognizing formations. Coach Trisciani talking with the side judge over here, looking to see what the call was on. He's got his palms up wondering what's that call all about. So 1st and 10 on the penalty. Tight end, flanker right, slot left, back is to Black's left, in motion, and a little crossbuck action look, and a great play there on the edge by number 2. That was Szymanski. And he was waiting for Ledger Russell. So it was a nice job on the edge out there. So that's going to set up a second down. And we're going to have a penalty. We're going to do it again. So it looks like a holding call against Bedford. So the great equalizer is the yellow flag. That is a spot foul. So it's going to back them up. And it's going to be first down and about 22. 1st and 22 on that spot foul penalty. 3:07 to go here in the third quarter. You don't have many 22-yard plays in your bag of tricks. We'll see what Bedford dials up. Motion, he'll lasso it to the left, set up in the pocket, looking to take a shot, finds the intermediate route, and that was number 8, Dom Tagliaferro. And you got to like the play. You just don't like the fact that it came on second and infinity. It's a great play. It's just, you're trying to get back to the original line of scrimmage. And I'll tell you right there, Tagliaferro, lucky he didn't get called for procedure as he was coming towards the line of scrimmage on that orbit motion before the ball was snapped. If we were in Canada, no harm, no foul. Twins to the right, tight end flanker left, the back is to Black's right. He'll rodeo this one. Max Pro got a man open, and it's a great play there, received by, looked like Joel Poltroneri.
Black to Poltroneri for the Bulldogs.
So Poltroneri, a nice catch and a good job. It looks like they're going to rodeo lasso from this point out, try to get to the, when I say rodeo, that means roll right, lasso, roll left. So they're going to rodeo and lasso here. They're finding some success on the perimeter passing game. 3rd down and about 7, maybe a long 6 for the Bulldogs. We'll see if they're in 4-down territory. Probably depends on how this play works out. We know that Snow has the leg. And he'll have to eat it and go with it. As a great job by the Guertin secondary there. And I'll tell you why. When you're in goal line coverage, you don't backpedal. You do not backpedal on the goal line. You backpedal your beat. And they hold their feet quite well. Because anything caught in front of you is a first down or a touchdown. So it's 4th down for Bedford, and it appears that they're going to go for it here rather than take the points. They might try to get Guertin to jump off sides and get a freebie and maybe take a timeout. We'll see. Tight end trips to the right, split end left. Pressure coming off the edge. Slant route. And I tell you what, Black put it right on the hands of Poltroneri, and it looked like it was knocked away at the last second by the long arm, if we can see it. Yeah, he came over the top with the long arm and knocked that thing down. Black put it where it needed to be. So a great defensive stand there by the Cardinals, helped by a couple of untimely penalties against Bedford. And Guertin will take over on downs. We'll see if they go right back to the right side where Baker is and Rocco Gerasi, the right side of that offensive line, also bolstered by Nieto. And they do just that. And a huge first down run by Ethan Labby. And I'll tell you right now, no one likes to see this more than Santa Suazo, who now there's a three-headed monster. We can throw the ball. Santa Suazo can keep it. But Labby, a huge part in this run game. He's having himself a day. And he keeps it again, and he'll pick up 3 more tough yards. Now the Guertin offensive line starting to impose their will on the front of this Bulldog defense. They're winning the line of scrimmage. It's gone back and forth this round, definitely going to the Cardinals as we head inside of 48 seconds to go in the third quarter. We're going to go slot trips to the right, split end to the left. Back is to Santa Suazo's right. And they go right back to him. It's going to get swallowed up there by number 52, Parker Bromley, but going to pick up 5 or 6 on the play, going to set up a huge third down, and that is probably going to take us to the end of the third quarter. Neither of these teams probably going to take a timeout here, so we're going to head to the end of the third quarter, 14-7 Guertin lead. Very, very impressive, and when you're up against it, what Guertin has showed is they're going to run behind Baker and Gerasi on that right side. They're going to bring in a tight slot and Dante Nieto, and they're going to allow Ethan Labby to kind of punch his way through that seam, and that has been the recipe for success here for this Cardinal team. They've mixed in a couple of passes here and there. They've mixed in some Santa Suazo runs, but really the meat and potatoes of this one has been the job of the offensive line of Guertin opening the hole on the right side for Labby. So we're going to go to the fourth quarter in a highly contested Division I game. Guertin were to hold on here, that sets up a huge meeting next week here at Stello Stadium, as the Nashua North Titans will be the home team in that game. Guertin will be the visiting team. And we'll have the action for you here on Nashua ETV. And it should be an outstanding game between two of the Division I heavyweights. And certainly, you look at this Western Conference team, you have Bedford, you have Bishop Guertin, you have Nashua North. Three teams that are just taking each other's best punches. But that second seed is so important. That second seed will put you in a bracket opposite of Londonderry, who many think are the odds-on favorite to repeat this year. Nashua North scrimmaged Londonderry this year. We'll talk a little bit about that one as we get deeper into this game. Tight slot trips to the left, split end right. Santa Suazo again hands it off, and the interior of the defense was waiting there as that time number 52 for the Bulldogs, Parker Bromley, sets up a minimal gain. So a 4th down and 3 now. Huge play for the Cardinals.
No gain, 4th down and 3.
Be interesting. They're bringing on, looks like they're going to bring on their punt team here. And that's a good call. You want to change the field position here, and you want to make sure that you have the Bulldogs have to march as far as possible in order to even this thing up. So Baker will do the duties punting. We'll see if Bedford comes after. They don't. They're setting up the return. And that's a great punt, a rainmaker by Baker. And there's a rhyme. And if Guertin touched it, I'm not sure if they did, but I'll tell you right there, if Guertin had touched it, Bedford could have picked it up and ran it without worrying if they fumbled or not. I don't know if they did touch it. Called first touching back there on the 32-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. And that was, you'll look back on that particular play right there. That just changed field position. And that was an outstanding punt by Baker. So now it'll be Bedford's turn. What do they have drawn up here? They'll come out in a double tight end, deep wing look. Sniffer with a pistol. And they run trap, and there's nothing doing there as first man through. Number 1 was Logan Sphere. And found the sledding quite tough on that one. Sorry, folks, don't mean to be talking about sledding just yet. Leaves are changing color here on the trees. I don't want to fast forward into the snow season just yet. I know you skiing folks are very excited for that, but let's enjoy the foliage, shall we? Double tight end, double wing pistol formation for the Bulldogs. Motion, and it is a fake. He gets rid of it. There's that intermediate route once again, and getting rid of it just in time was Black, as a nice reception made there by number 88, Kevin Sheridan. And those are the plays that you like to see if you're an offense when it's 1st down and 2nd down and 10, not when it's 1st and 2nd down and 20 or 15. It's a very manageable 3rd and 2 for the Bulldogs here. They have had quite a bit of success in that intermediate route, whether it be the hook or the curl or the drag from the backside or the out route. They've had some success there. We'll see if they go back to it. Snow comes in motion, and the handoff goes once again to Sphere, and he'll hit the gap and get a 1st down for those Bulldogs. So Snow's going to sleep well tonight. He's probably run the equivalent of a 5K road race in all of his motions here this evening. But I'll tell you, up front, the line is blocking well, and Sphere is just having a night himself. Double tight, double wing pistol formation for the Bulldogs. Snow again in motion. And there goes Sphere once again, right up the gut. And the legs keep churning. He's still going. Thought maybe forward progress was stopped at 5, but he kept it going, and he gets about 7. So a huge run there on first down, and once again, 2nd and short. And if you watch the replay, you can see white jerseys locked onto the green jerseys until the 2nd level. That is the key. Just inside of 8:53 to go in this one. Double tight, double wing pistol once again for the Bulldogs. Motion, Snow. They were ready for it that time. Well went dry. So maybe a loss of a couple there. And now you're back inside your own territory, 3rd and about 6 from your own 49. Wondering what it's going to take if they don't get the first down here. What does Coach Matthews need to get on this huge 3rd down play? It's a jet sweep, and he's going to keep it. Blocking on the perimeter, cutback. Nicely done by the Guertin defense. Leading the charge there once again was Baker. Initially it was blocked well up front. Ledger Russell looked like he was going to get his shoulders square. He only picked up 4 yards, and it appears the early going that Bedford is going to go for it. And Ledger Russell kind of jogs off and looked like he's maybe twisted an ankle there. Bedford going to take a timeout and talk things over. 7:37 to go here. It is 4th and a long 2 for the Bulldogs. The ball is on the 47-yard line. So it'll be interesting to see what Zach Matthews, head coach of the Bulldogs, dials up here. And how will Coach Trisciani counter that attack? We'll keep an eye on those timeouts. Bedford uses their first of the second half. They have 2 remaining. BG still has all 3 timeouts. So it has been an outstanding game up to this point. A couple of turnovers have yielded points. But a relatively clean game by both of these teams, and you can see why. They are odds-on favorite to make it deep into the 2022 playoffs. Both of these teams feel like they can make a postseason run. BG touted by many to be a preseason favorite along with Londonderry. Bedford year in and year out puts a good product on the field, and Coach Matthews has his team playing at an extremely high level towards the end of this season. So 4th and 2. Shotgun snap, and it's going to be a first down and then some, but there's a flag thrown late towards the line, usually where you see holding. And you hate to see a play like that have an effect in this game, and it is. It's going to be a hold on the Bulldogs on a great run. And I'll tell you what, if I'm Coach Trisciani, I'm telling my kids not to worry about pumping the fans up. Pay attention to what's going on the field, because Guertin got caught there raising their arms while Bedford was lining up to run a play. Guess that's the former coach in me. So they're going to punt here. Too much real estate to overcome there. We'll set up a 4th and 13.
At the 42. Snow back to punt for the Bulldogs.
Snow to punt. Deep for Guertin is Santasuazo. And you know when your quarterback's returning punts, he's a dangerous player. Snow handles a difficult snap. It's a good punt off to the left. Takes a sideways bounce. Not sure how that one would have rolled, but Tagliaferro is there to down it. And the field position has slanted back into Bedford's favor. It'll be 1st and 10 for Guertin from their own 30-yard line. 7 minutes, 8 seconds to go on the dial in this one. And you are watching on Nashua ETV. Jason Roby here with the color and the play-by-play. Tim Diesel O'Neill is the man on the moving pictures. Our executive producer is Pete Johnson. Handoff there up the middle, stacked up. A huge scrum, and looks like it's going to be no gain as Labby plows in through the interior of the defensive line. So second down and 10. The clock is not the Bulldogs' friend. BG is okay because a play like that will still keep the clock running. You'll see them start to milk. They'll start to watch the back judge for him to put his hand up. That means they're running short on time on the play clock. But obviously we're not there yet. They try to run the speed sweep, and that's Santa Suazo following the pull. So Santa Suazo with a run around the left side follows his pulling lineman, and it was a good play there. That'll set up a third down and 3. This is a huge play defensively for Bedford. They've got to get off the field and give their offense another chance. Guertin, one more first down, maybe 2, could potentially ice this thing. Slant pass is complete. And a great grab there by number 86, Gavin Bombara. And that will move the sticks. And they're going to wind the clock right now. 5:46 and counting. First and 10, Guertin from their own 44. And that slant pass was perfectly placed by Santa Suazo. They used the play-action fake to Ronan Balistreri on the motion, and it opened up. Here it comes again. This time Santa Suazo falls on it. His knee is down, and I'll tell you what right there, a good heads-up play by number 44, Cal McAuliffe, to hear that whistle and let go of Santa Suazo. You're in pretty good situation there. You don't want to take a 15-yard penalty. So Santa Suazo loses, going to say, about 7 on that play. So it's going to be second down and 17 for the Cardinals. Bedford showing pressure. They do. They come with 5. And it's going to be Balistreri on the perimeter. And he's going to get run out of bounds. More importantly, referee's going to keep the clock running, even though he was run out of bounds backwards. So an interesting call there, 4:36 and counting. And I'm wondering if the Bedford sideline is wondering why that clock wasn't stopped. Clearly momentum was going backwards in the field of play. So now they're going to continue to use and milk this clock. They have a wide slot trips to the left, split end to the right. The back is to Santa Suazo's right side. Looks like the right side's going to, they're going to throw the football. It's a screen, and it's a good play. And a great job and a great play call on that screen. We'll have to wait and see where it's spotted. It is a first down. First down for Guertin. There is a flag. I think they're going to wave it off. They weren't linemen downfield. It was a screen pass. I don't think you're going to call linemen downfield on a screen. We'll see. It is a flag. So we'll see what the call is. They're going to be talking about the offensive line there maybe. We'll have to wait and see. And it looked like an eligible man downfield, but it's a screen pass. I don't know what, it's a screen pass, so I'm not sure of the exact ruling there. I know that the Guertin sideline is asking for an explanation, and they're going to do that. They're calling it an eligible man downfield, but it was a screen pass, so they're going to have to navigate through this. They have kept the sticks set, and they're going to explain it to Coach Trisciani, who doesn't quite understand it. And I guarantee you that's what they're talking about. Of course, we don't. So, 3rd and 21, 22. What do? Run the same play again. They won't be expecting it this time. Let's see. So you want to keep everything in front of you. You don't want to give up 22 yards if you're Bedford. We'll see what Coach Trisciani has dialed in. You'll have slot trips to the left, split end right. Labby is to Santa Suazo's right. And they will pass block. And he's taking a shot once again. And is it caught? The referee is saying out of bounds, incomplete. Wow. We'll have to watch this on the replay here. It could have been offensive pass interference at first glance. We'll see. Not sure if we can see the push off here. No, they're just jockeying for position. It does look like he was out of bounds on the replay. So, so some mixed results here up in the booth. Should have been a catch. Potentially, it's being said. And that's what I'm being told by the Bedford folks. So if the Bedford folks are saying that was a catch, well, that's a fantastic punt. That's creating rain clouds. Snow has some field to his right. Cuts back. Gets to about the 50-yard line and is dragged down at the 49, his own 49. And rather, that was Tagliaferro on that return. And there is such a thing about out-kicking your coverage. That was a fantastic punt. Fantastic punt by Baker. But look, there's nobody within 20 yards of Tagliaferro. He has a full head of steam. So 1st and 10. 3:18 to go in this one. They're going to line up unbalanced line trips to the right. And Guertin has not adjusted to it all night. And that, once again, is going to be Logan Sphere. But interestingly enough, even though it's unbalanced, they're running to the other side of the field. So why would they adjust? 3 minutes to go in this one. Bedford is on the Guertin 44-yard line. Tight end flanker to the left. Motion comes Tagliaferro. It's going to be a play action fake. Ball up the middle of the field, and Snow was the intended receiver. He had inside leverage on Ronan Balistreri. Coming over the top late was the free safety, but Snow appeared to have a step. So the clock will stop. It's going to be 3rd down and 4. Clearly you are in 4-down territory here. So you have 2 downs to get 4 yards. So you're not feeling the stress yet. You're trying to get as much as you can on this 3rd down play to keep your 4th down play at a minimum. Tight end flanker to the right, twins to the left. The back is to Black's right side. Flags, a timeout will be called by Bedford, and that is their 2nd timeout, if I'm not mistaken. So Coach Matthews saw something that he didn't like there. So let's set the table for you here. It is 3rd and 4. The ball will be placed at the 45-yard line of Bishop Guertin. BG is nursing a 14-7 lead. The lone touchdown of this second half coming as a result of a turnover by Bedford in their own territory. And BG was able to punch it in on a strong running game off to the right side behind Baker and Gerasi. Also helping out was Dante Nieto. So we will see what comes out of this timeout from Coach Matthews. It looks like twins to the right, tight end flanker to the left. The back is to Black's right, and that is Russell. Snow comes in motion, and they run a counter play, and Ledger Russell on the counter. And that was a good job by the defensive front there of BG. Looked like it was Andrew Piker in there, along with Gerasi. And this is the play of the game here, folks. A stop here by Guertin, all but ices it. Clock's running, 2:10 to go. Tight end trips to the left, split end right. Slant route, and it's blocked. And it's blocked. And the slant pass, we'll have to take a look at replay. Was it open? It appears the slant was open. The slant was wide open. And that should about do it here. Turnover on downs. Bedford can only stop the clock one more time. 2:02 to go here in this one. And if you can't get to the quarterback, your defensive line coach will always say, get your hands up. And looky what I found. That deflected pass ends the Bedford drive. And I'll tell you right now, if that pass doesn't get blocked right now, number 11, Joel Poltroneri, the next time he stopped running may have been in the back of the end zone. Santa Suazo. And I'll tell you right now that Bedford is going to bring everybody to the dance. They were blitzing off both edges with a pinch in the middle. And if Santa Suazo can get by that first line, it's a touchdown.
And the Bulldogs use their last
Bedford will use their last timeout, third and final timeout. It's 2nd down and 8 with 1:55 to go in this one. So all you do here, what your Coach Trisciani, you're telling your team, ball security, ball security, ball security. And when you think you've done that, ball security. Second point, stay in bounds. Don't run out of bounds and give the other team any chance to stop the clock. Obviously, if you're Coach Matthews on the other side, what you say is first guy in, hold him up. Second guy in, get that ball on the carpet. 5 points of contact on that football between your arm and your shoulder pad. So we're going to see here, hold them up, try to get the ball on the carpet if you are Bedford, and if you're Guertin, 2 hands on the rock, stay in bounds. And no penalties. 4-man front. They're going to bring pressure off the edge, and they did. It's a neutral zone infraction. They got on the job. Oh, and that's taunting right there by 57, and he is very lucky he didn't get flagged. That was A.J. Rasmussen, and oh boy, and his teammates are letting him know about it too. Don't be taunting the other team. You cannot afford to take a penalty. So 2nd down and looks like 3 yards to go. Again, the 4-man front. We'll see if Bedford brings pressure off the edge. They do, and it opens up a huge hole for number 33, and that's going to do it, folks. That's Ethan Labby. And I'm going to tell you right now, he has had a whale of a game on that play, and a lot of credit. I'm sure he's going to give it to his offensive line, opening up those huge holes on the right side. Bedford cannot stop the clock from this point forward, and the clock is moving at 1:35. 1st and 10 for Guertin. They're going to go into their victory formation. They'll take 3 consecutive knees here, and that'll close this one out. Bedford going to go to 5-2 on the season, and the best that they'll probably be able to do is a 3rd-place finish in the Western Conference, if you can believe that, at 5-2. An outstanding defensive battle by both of these teams. Opportunistic offense when they needed it most. They ran to their strengths, and the difference here tonight was a turnover was capitalized by the Cardinals on the first possession of the second half. So Guertin is going to move to 6-1, and that is going to set up a huge clash next week when they will assume position on the visiting sideline, and Nashua North will be the team facing them from across the field. And it is going to be the best game in town if you can catch that one next week. Hats off to both of these teams here today as Bishop Guertin and Bedford took each other's best swings, and wow, what a game. I would not be surprised to see each of these two teams going deep into the playoffs in the postseason. Our final here as the clock comes to 0:00. Bishop Guertin 14, Bedford 7. For our cameraman, Tim Diesel O'Neill on the moving pictures. Our executive producer, Pete Johnson. My name is Jason Roby, signing off here from Nashua ETV. And we're going to see you next week, folks, for a clash of the undefeated Nashua North Titans and the 6-1 Bishop Guertin Cardinals. Have a great evening, everybody.